When you think of money, what comes to mind? Perhaps the shiny quarters or the crisp dollar bills, or maybe even the rare and expensive coins that are highly sought after by collectors. But what about the humble 1-cent coin? It's often overlooked, dismissed as practically worthless in modern society. Or is it? Let's start at the very beginning. The 1-cent coin, or penny as it's commonly known in the US, has a history that stretches back over 200 years. It all began in 1792 with the Coinage Act of the United States. This act authorized the creation of a U.S. mint and paved the way for the production of a national currency, including coins of various denominations, including the mighty 1-cent piece. At that time, America was a young nation, still figuring out how to handle money. Before the mint was established, people used a mix of foreign coins, including Spanish dollars and other European currency. But with the country's expansion, there was a real need for a standardized form of money. The very first 1-cent coin, known as the chain cent, was introduced in 1793. It was made of copper and featured a chain surrounding a central image of a hand holding a ribbon with the word liberty. On the reverse side, there was an inscription of 1 cent surrounded by 15 stars. The chain cent didn't last long. It was replaced by a more familiar design just a year later. Over the next several decades, the 1-cent coin saw a number of design changes. In 1796, the Liberty Cap cent was introduced, followed by the classic head and coronet head designs. But perhaps the most iconic, and longest-lasting, design was the one introduced in 1859. This design featured the image of a young Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, and a simple wheat stalk design on the reverse. The Lincoln wheat cent became the symbol of the American penny and remained in circulation for 50 years. It was only in 1959 that the U.S. Mint switched the reverse design to the Lincoln Memorial, which stayed in circulation until 2009. Since 2009, the penny has seen other minor design changes, including the shield design introduced in 2010. But through all these changes, one thing remained constant: the penny's deep connection to American history and culture. Now, let's talk about the economic value of the penny in the past. In the early 1800s, the 1-cent coin was a vital part of daily transactions. Back then, 1 cent could buy you a loaf of bread, a cup of coffee, or even a newspaper. It wasn't just a throwaway coin like it is seen today. 1 cent could go a long way in the 19th century. And as inflation over time started to increase, the purchasing power of the penny gradually diminished. But in the early days of U.S. coinage, pennies were a key part of everyday life. For example, in 1913, 1 penny could buy a slice of pie or a small pack of gum. Fast forward to the mid-20th century, and a penny could still buy a postage stamp. But by the 1970s, the penny's value had started to drop dramatically, as inflation took its toll. So, what about today? The penny seems to have lost much of its usefulness in the modern economy. It costs more to produce a penny than it is worth, around 2.1 cents to mint each one, which is a major drain on the U.S. economy. Yet, despite the rising production costs, pennies remain in circulation. In fact, more than 13 billion pennies are produced each year in the United States alone. While their purchasing power is extremely low, they continue to circulate, primarily because of tradition and the psychological effect they have on consumers. The penny remains a symbol of the smallest unit of currency, and for many people, it's just a part of everyday life. But here's where it gets interesting. While most people see the 1-cent coin as practically worthless, there are instances where a single penny can be worth much more than its face value. Some rare 1-cent coins are worth thousands, even millions of dollars. For example, did you know that the 1943 copper penny is one of the most valuable pennies in existence? It's worth over $1 million in certain conditions. Because during World War II, the U.S. government switched to producing pennies made of steel to conserve copper. However, a few copper pennies were mistakenly struck, and these rare 1943 copper pennies are now among the most sought-after coins by collectors. And that's not all. There are other pennies that have been minted with errors, such as the 1955 double-dyed penny or the 1909 SVDB penny. These coins are extremely rare, and they can fetch prices that are well beyond what you'd expect from a humble 1-cent coin. So, what does the future hold for the 1-cent coin? The debate over whether or not to eliminate the penny has been ongoing for years. Many people argue that the penny is no longer needed in modern commerce, especially with the rise of digital payments. In fact, countries like Canada and the United Kingdom have already phased out their low-value coins. But the penny remains deeply ingrained in American culture. Many believe that if the US were to abolish the penny, it would create a ripple effect, forcing changes to prices and possibly causing inflation. Others argue that it would simply be more efficient and environmentally friendly to stop producing the coin altogether. One thing's for sure, the penny has had a long and storied history, and whether it sticks around for much longer or not, it's clear that this small coin has made a big impact on American currency. Thanks for watching! Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. And let me know in the comments, do you think we should keep the penny, or is it time to say goodbye? Until next time, keep collecting, and keep exploring the fascinating world of money.